Imagine this. You are a pastor, a priest, an imam, a nun. You spent 5 years in the United States serving your congregation, building a life, doing everything right. Then the law said, go home. You must leave for 1 full year. Come back after. So you left. You left behind your church, your students, your family in America. You watched from abroad as your EB-4 immigrant visa, your green card petition sat frozen in a backlog with no end date. You waited and waited and waited. Some of you have been waiting for 3 years, 4 years, five, and then on January 16th, 2026, everything changed. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem signed a final rule that eliminates the 1 year abroad requirement for R1 religious workers, effective immediately. Thousands of religious workers stranded abroad can now return to the United States without waiting for that 1 year to pass. But here is the problem. Most religious workers and even their lawyers don't fully understand what exactly changed, who qualifies, and what to do right now. Stay with me because in the next few minutes, I am going to give you the exact legal knowledge, the exact steps, and the exact words you need to protect yourself and come home. My name is Timothy, and this is US Updates Hub. Before I give you the good news, I need to warn you about the dangerous assumptions people are already making. Mistake number one, I will just walk back in and everything is fine. This new rule does not mean you can just show up at the border without preparation. You still need to prove your eligibility, present your R1 status documents, and show your petition is still valid. If you walk in without the right papers, an officer can deny your entry, and that denial goes on your permanent immigration record. Mistake number two, my employer will handle it. I'll just wait for their call. Some religious organizations are slow. Some don't even know about this rule yet. If you are waiting for your church or mosque to call you, you might miss the window, especially if you are in the non-minister category. Why? Because the non-minister extension only runs until September 30th, 2026. That means you have a deadline. Do not sit and wait. Mistake number three. I already left, so my R1 is still active. I am safe. R1 status has a maximum duration. If you were already near the 5-year limit when you left, your R1 may have expired while you were abroad. Before you book a ticket, you need to check the exact dates on your I-94 and approval notice. Don't guess, confirm. Mistake number four, talking to the border officer without knowing your rights. When you arrive at a port of entry, an airport, a land border, a CBP officer will question you. Some officers don't know this new rule. Some will be skeptical. Some will push you with aggressive questions designed to make you say something that gets you turned away, one wrong answer, one moment of panic, and you are on a flight back home again. This is not a scare tactic. This is reality. And this is why you need to know the law before you land. Let me now explain in simple language exactly what the law says. Under the old rule before January 16th, 2026, an R1 religious worker could only work in the United States for a maximum of 5 years. After those 5 years, if they were waiting in the EB-4 backlog and hadn't received their green card yet, they had to physically leave the United States and stay outside for 1 full year before they could apply to come back. This rule destroyed careers, separated families, and harmed religious communities across America. Churches lost their pastors. Mosques lost their imams. Schools lost their teachers. For workers born in countries like India, where the EB-4 backlog is measured in decades, this 1-year gap was a permanent death sentence for their American dream. Now, here is the new rule. On January 16th, 2026, the Department of Homeland Security published a final rule in the Federal Register. This rule eliminates the 1-year foreign residency requirement. Now, a religious worker who has completed 5 years of R1 status and is still waiting in the EB-4 backlog can leave the United States and return immediately without waiting 1 year. They can apply for a new period of R1 status, even if they previously maxed out their 5 years, and they can continue working for their religious employer while their EB-4 petition is pending. But listen carefully, there are 2 categories, and there is a critical difference between them. Category 1, ministers. That means priests, pastors, imams, rabbis. Those who officially perform religious duties. For ministers, this rule is permanent. It does not expire. It does not have a deadline. Category 2, non-ministers. That means religious instructors, translators, religious workers who serve but don't lead prayers officially. For non-ministers, this relief is temporary. It was extended from February 3rd, 2026 until September 30th, 2026. After that date, the old restrictions may return. Act now. For your reference, the official DHS final rule is published in the Federal Register, January 16th, 2026. Document number 2026, ZO 830. USCIS also released an official news release titled, DHS Reduces Wait Times for Thousands of Religious Workers Abroad. And you can find EB4 category information on the USCIS Special Immigrant Religious Workers page. Links to all three are in the description below. Share them with your attorney. Okay, now you know the law. Now let's talk about what you actually do. I am going to give you the exact steps and the exact words to say at the port of entry. Step 1, check your status before you book any ticket. Pull out your I-94 arrival and departure record. You can check it at i94.cbp.dhs.gov. Pull out your R1 approval notice, that is Form I-797, and pull out your employer's Form I-129 petition. Confirm it is still active. Confirm your petition is still valid and your employer is still sponsoring you. If anything has lapsed, fix it before you travel. Once you are at the border is not the time to discover a problem. Step 2, get a written support letter from your religious organization. Ask your religious employer in the U.S. to write a letter on official letterhead stating that you are still employed as a religious worker, that your EB4 immigrant petition is pending, and that they are sponsoring your R1 readmission under the January 2026 DHS final rule. This letter is your first line of defense at the border. Print it. Carry a physical copy. Step 3, consult an immigration attorney before you travel. This rule is new. Rule: some officers at ports of entry are not yet fully trained on it. If possible, especially for non-ministers whose deadline is September 30th, 2026. Get a written legal opinion letter from a licensed immigration attorney explaining your eligibility under the new rule. This adds a second shield if an officer questions your entry. Step 4, at the port of entry, use this exact script. When the CBP officer asks you, "Why were you abroad?" you say, "I was completing personal matters. I am a religious worker, and I am returning to my employer in the United States." When the officer asks, "Didn't you already use your 5 years of R1?" you say, "Yes." However, under the DHS final rule published January 16th, 2026, the 1-year foreign residency requirement has been eliminated. My employer has an active EB4 petition on file, and I am eligible to return to R1 status. I have the supporting documentation. When the officer says, "Show me your documents," you hand over your I-797 approval, your support letter from your employer, and your attorney opinion letter if you have one. Then stay silent until you are asked another question. Now, this is critical. Do not say, "I'm not sure if I qualify." Never show doubt. Do not say, "My lawyer told me to come." Do not deflect responsibility. Do not say, "I know I overstayed before." Never volunteer problems, and do not say, "Is there a supervisor I can speak to?" Unless you are being detained. Memorize these 3 sentences. These are the 3 sentences that protect you. Sentence 1, I am a religious worker returning under the January 16th, 2026 DHS final rule. Sentence 2, I have an active EB4 petition, and I am sponsored by, and then say the name of your church, mosque, or organization. Sentence 3, here's my supporting documentation. Say them calmly. Do not add more. Do not explain your whole life story. Step 5, if the officer denies entry or detains you, immediately say, "I would like to speak to an immigration attorney." Before answering further questions, you have this right. It is not a crime to ask for it. Do not sign any documents until your attorney reviews them, especially any form that looks like a voluntary departure form. A voluntary departure form is not the same as a formal deportation order. But if you sign it incorrectly, it can hurt future applications. Do not sign anything under pressure. Listen to me carefully. If you are a religious worker who has been sitting abroad, separated from your congregation, afraid of the system, today is a different day. This DHS rule is a genuine legal victory. Secretary Kristi Noem's administration recognized that keeping pastors and imams and nuns stuck outside America for a year while their communities suffer made no sense. And now, for the first time in years, you have a real path back. But knowing this right doesn't make you a criminal. It makes you smart. It makes you prepared. It means you walk into that airport calm, confident, with your documents in hand instead of scared and unprepared. The immigrants who get turned away are almost never turned away because of the law. They are turned away because they didn't know the law and they panicked. You will not panic because now you know. Non-ministers, this is your last reminder. Your deadline is September 30th, 2026. That is not far away. If you are in the non-minister category, contact your employer, contact an attorney, and start your paperwork today. Do not wait. Share this video with every religious worker you know. This information could change their life. Subscribe to US Updates Hub. I release new rights-based videos every week. Drop a comment below. Are you a minister or non-minister? What country are you currently in? I read every comment and all legal resource links are in the description below. The DHS final rule, the USCIS news release, and the EB4 information page. Stay legal, stay protected, and come home safely. This is Timothy from US Updates Hub.